Fine day here, sir. Thank you so much. And एक जोरदार करताली दें. Let's have a round of applause. And sir, we are really delighted to find you here. Thank you for joining the session. I'll please request you to kindly take a seat. Ladies and gentlemen, please take a seat. We're about to commence with the third session, the final session for today, which is on improving multimodal infrastructure for seamless connectivity. Given the current connectivity scenario, Odisha has a great opportunity to create efficient connectivity that seamlessly connects cargo originating centers with seaports and other logistics facilities. With national policies like the PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, the pace of implementation of such product has increased. And to now go ahead, may I please request the chairman, Mr. K. Mohan Das, sir, to kindly join us upon stage. I request Mr. Yogesh Gupta, Regional Chairman East, FIU and Managing Director, Mega Moda Private Limited, on the stage, please. Mr. Gupta has an extensive experience of 23 years in the export business and is also the Managing Director of Mega Moda Private Limited, a renowned seafood processing plant in Eastern India. We have with us Mr. Sashwat Mishra, IAS Principal Secretary, MSME Department, Government of Odisha. May I please request you, sir, to kindly join us upon the stage. Mr. P.L. Haranath, IRPS Chairman, Paradip Port Authority, on the stage, please. Mr. Haranath is an Indian Railway Traffic Service Officer of 1994 batch. He has rich experience in the rail freight operations, business development, and traffic planning. He was instrumental in developing innovative marketing solutions to attract cargoes like coal and containers. Mr. Bhubaneswar Roy, Chief Freight Transportation Manager, East Coast Railways, 2001 batch IRTS officer. Mr. Roy has worked in various posts in Western Railway and East Coast Railway. He has worked as railway advisor at HCI in Dhaka, Bangladesh. And it's my proud privilege to now invite on stage our chief guest for the day, Shri Pratap K. Dev, Honorable Minister of Industries, Micro and Small and Medium Enterprise and Energy. Shri Pratap K. Devji is a member of 16th Assembly of Odisha, 2019 to 2024, elected from all, and was inducted into Shri Naveen Patnaik's Cabinet as Industries, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, Energy Minister in June 2022. May I now please request Mr. Yogesh Gupta, sir, to kindly honor our chief guest for today, Shri Pratap K. Dev, sir, without video, as a mark of respect and token of love on behalf of this beautiful family. May I please request everyone for a round of applause for none other than our Honorable Minister, Shri Pratap K. Dev. Thank you so much, sir, for being here, for taking out time from your busy schedule. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time that I invite Mr. K. Mohan Das, Chairman, India Sea Trade, on to the podium to address the gathering once again.
Honorable Minister, Shri Pratap K. Dev, distinguished guests on the dais, and my dear friends in the hall. Actually, I was not planning to speak because I had spoken at the opening session. But the deliberations were so intense, so educative and informative that I'm tempted to speak, especially because we have top people from the state government, the Honorable Minister and the Secretary are here. So I thought I should just mention a couple of points which came up during the deliberations here. On the positive side, one of the things mentioned was that on a comparison of the industrial policies of various states, the policy of the Odisha government was found to be the most investor friendly. So that is something on which I'm sure the Odisha government needs to be appreciated. The second, of course, at the cost of repetition, the point is about the state finances. The state has managed its finances so well, and the management of state finances and a real surplus in finance is something which is a positive thing because there is money for the government to invest. State governments are finding it difficult even to pay their salaries and pensions in many parts of the country, but Odisha seems to be doing well. In fact, so long years back, one of my batchmates in the IAS was finance secretary here. He used to say that, he had a role in streamlining state finances. So I don't know, but there were reports that one Mr. U. Sharat Chandran, who was finance secretary long back, had a role in sort of streamlining finances, but what mattered a quarter century back is not very relevant. What matters is now, and the state is doing well. The third thing is, in growth, in various indicators, the rate of growth of the state has been quite impressive, which is good. The base was very, very low, so growth is not very difficult, but then achieving that growth is something which needs a lot of effort. So that effort has been put in, but a lot more definitely needs to be done, and I'm sure your government is certainly capable of doing all that. And another positive thing, again at the cost of repetition, is that the people of the state, both the common man and the business and industry, have been able to bounce back even from very, very severe natural calamities, which again is a very, very, very positive symbol of the capability of the people and the system. So you have had very severe cyclones and other natural calamities, but the way you have come back definitely needs appreciation. So these are some of the things that came up. There were lots of other things which where a lot of attention is required, where there are gaps in infrastructure, where there are requirements to be complied with by the state and central governments for improving infrastructure, for filling up the gaps in infrastructure and all that. So these are things which I'm sure the industry has brought up, and I'm sure they will be bringing up all these things. We ourselves, because many of the things may have to be done by the central government, but then we don't distinguish between governments. The center and the states will have to work together, and the state, being locally interested, will naturally be following up these matters with the central government. So the infrastructural issues, the port connectivity, and various other related things, bringing down the cost of logistics, which is very high. So these are all matters in which governments will have to play a role, along with the private and public sector players involved. So friends, it has been a great afternoon today, and this session, in this session we have the real people at the policy level, people at the, top people at the operational level, including the chairman of the Paradip Port. So I'm looking forward to very, very valuable inputs in this session. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And now, with this, may I please request for the welcome address, Mr. Yogesh Gupta, Regional Chairman East, FIEO and Managing Director, Megamada Private Limited. Sir, please, over to you.
Shri Pratap Keshri Devji, Honorable Minister of Industries, MSME and Energy. Shri P.L. Haranathji, Principal Port Trust Chairman, Paradip. Shri Shashwat Mishra Ji, Principal Secretary, MSME. Shri Devanjan Roy, Chief Freight Transport Manager, East Coast Railway. Mr. K. Mohan Das, Chairman of Sea Trade, who has organized this event. Member exporters, shipping lines, brokers, freight forwarders, all the delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It It is indeed an honor to welcome our Honorable Minister, and I thank him for his august presence at this event. This event is themed on a very crucial aspect of exports from Odisha, organized by India Sea Trade in association with Federation of Indian Export Organizations. I thank you, sir, for joining us despite your busy schedule. Being the regional chairman of FIO, an export promotion body, I will first talk about exports and then move on to the logistics part. Because exports and logistics both go hand in hand. We can't do without each other. Ladies and gentlemen, Indian exports, as you may be aware, in 2023 crossed an unprecedented US $776 billion, with trades accounting for, in trade in goods accounting for $447 billion, and in services, US $329 billion. Now, this is in line with India's continued efforts to increase its overall exports, and the volume of exports from India has expanded dramatically, and many international markets rely largely on India to import specific items into the country. With petroleum products, pharmaceuticals, organic and inorganic chemicals, gems and jewelry, textiles, machinery, mechanical appliances, minerals, iron and steel, automobiles, agri and processed food are among the main exports from India. And in Odisha, we have a lot of aluminum, iron and steel, coal and marine products going out from Odisha. Sir, in the recent past, your department has taken several initiatives for facilitation of exports, such as the fortnightly virtual interaction with exporters, launch of the export policy exactly a year ago in November 2022, and in October 2023, you have launched an export incentive reimbursement portal, which is a very, very welcome move and enables all exporters to claim fiscal benefits. And these are very, very positive way forward towards increasing Odisha's share of exports, because funds are very important for exporters. Odisha, with its rich natural resources, vibrant industries, strategic location, holds immense potential to become a leading exporting hub in India. However, we need a comprehensive approach that addresses the infrastructural challenges and paves the way for efficient and hassle-free movement of goods out of Odisha. As the volume of exports and imports are growing, so is the demand for logistics infrastructure. And in this context, this multimodal logistics summit has a larger meaning. The need for a robust multimodal infrastructure that can facilitate seamless export connectivity and to address the infrastructure gaps and pave the way for efficient, hassle-free movement of goods from Odisha to the global market is the call of the day. Not only Odisha, even the neighboring states of Andhra and Telangana, Bengal will benefit if some infrastructure is developed from here. Government of India has already realized this gap and have got the vision by Gati Shakti, NLP, and other policies have been envisaged. Multimodal infrastructure will encompass a network of interconnected transport modes, road, rail, air, and waterways. And in the context of Odisha, strengthening multimodal infrastructure is essential for achieving several key objectives. What are these objectives? Unlocking market assets. Efficient connectivity will definitely boost goods movement out of Odisha. India has signed up multiple foreign trade agreements in the recent past few years, and almost about 16 of them. Odisha can leverage these markets by identifying the country's needs to orient their products to meet their requirements. Second, boosting export competitiveness. By reducing transportation cost and transit times, seamless multimodal infrastructure will make Odisha exports more competitive in the global market, leading to increased volumes and revenue generation. As a result, The third most important, this will promote economic growth to the state, including employment generation. With these objectives in mind, we need to build and upgrade our multimodal logistic infrastructure, which means an efficient road network for connecting Odisha's production center with major ports and inland rail terminals, strengthening rail infrastructure, developed waterways to utilize Odisha's extensive coastline and also inland waterways for cargo transportation, and this will definitely reduce the logistical cost and provide alternate transportation routes. Adding to this, some ecological benefits will also happen if we use better mode of transports and not use diesel-operated trucks within the city. Modernizing and upgrading the airport to facilitate export of perishable goods, handicrafts, and smaller package. One very important suggestion which we would like to make, that while we are doing this, we should think of making dedicated freight corridors and ICTs on the way so that the goods movement becomes even faster. I would request the Customs Department to deploy their officials in those ICTs which are not in the port but little outside on the port on the highways, so that once the goods are sealed, they go straight onto the vessel and are not choking the port anymore. The one initiative which I will talk about here is the AEO certification, which really has made an impact, is because if you are AEO certified unit producing goods, your vehicle is sealed there, goes straight into the port on the vessel and is not subject to entering into a CFS and then moving on to the port. So it saves a lot of money for the exporters. So this is a very welcome move by the Customs Department. I would urge all the trading fraternity to get AEO accredited. Policy measures are very important to promote exports and multimodal connectivity. While your state has already announced an export policy, which is a very lucrative and a good policy for the growth of exports, we now have to look into some policies on multimodal connectivity so that the cost of transportation is reduced, which almost is all within 11 to 14% now, and we are looking at bringing it down to single digit to the cost of merchandise. Technology upgradation. Post-COVID, India has grown rapidly in digitization. So we have to get into more technology upgradation in the logistics sector as well. Things should be on mobile and faster so that the cost is reduced. One good thing I just heard in the morning was that the GST has actually enabled fast movement of vehicles across the country. So this is a very good move, and it has facilitated the trade, because earlier there were octroi and borders and there were a lot of delay on the border. So I congratulate the government for coming out with such scheme which has facilitated the movement. One more suggestion which the trading community would like to make is that we should have a governing body to act under to govern the shipping and allied services, because there's a lot of unwanted expenses involved in between, and if there is a governing body in line with the DGCA, Director General of Civil Aviation, a lot of costs will be saved, because there are a lot of middlemen involved which charges a lot of unwanted money, and even sometimes the shipping line overcharges you for small matters. Before I conclude, I would now like to mention about FIO's 5th edition of Logics India. This is scheduled 26th to 20th March 2024 at Mumbai. And this also focuses on improving logistics cost and operational efficiencies and developing India as a regional logistics center. The event is the only international event in the global logistics subject supported by the Ministry of Commerce and Government of India. We are also focused, in fact in this event we will also have international participation. We are also focused on promoting outbound export business to global logistics trade hubs, shipping and aviation centers, warehouses. This edition is set and poised to host over 150 overseas logistics, shipping and warehousing companies spanning across 35 plus countries. Recently, a delegation from FIO had gone to Jebel Ali, Middle East, where a world-class India Bazaar hub is being built And this will consist of huge warehousing and a marketing opportunity for the Indian export houses. Once this is built, exporters from Odisha will also be able to tap the African market, which is definitely a very big market and is being controlled by the Middle East. So please, the exporter fraternity, I request that you get more details from us if you required, and you can hire a warehousing and a marketing shop in that India Bazaar. At this point, I would like to thank Mr. K. Mohan Das of India Sea Trade for making FIO an associate in this huge mega event, which has given a lot of deliberations and a lot of good inputs have come in. A warm welcome to this Multimodal Logistics Summit to all of you and to all the stakeholders, and I would request if there's any suggestion and notes which has been deliberated in the afternoon today, please circulate and we will all move forward to implement it as soon as possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. And now moving ahead, may I request our guest of honor to start with Mr. Sashwat Mishra, yes, Principal Secretary, MSME Department, Government of Odisha. Sir, please can we hear some valuable words from you?
Honorable Minister of MSME Department, Government of Odisha, Paradip Port Authority Chairman, Sri K. Mohan Das ji, Sri Gupta, Sri Rai, and esteemed members of the audience. I will be very brief. Mr. Gupta spoke about two things, air cargo and perhaps sea cargo. It is really quite unfortunate that Odisha doesn't have an international outlet and inlet as far as air cargo and container cargo are concerned. Those who are doing export-import business through air cargo, they are sending their cargo from either Kolkata or Delhi or Mumbai, etc. And those who are doing containerized export-import business, you are getting your containers in or out either from Kolkata or Haldia or Vizag. And thereby you are incurring a lot of cost, extra cost. And your operating cycle also is increasing, which through Paradip you could have got in 7 days, through Vizag you are getting in 13 or 14 days. So what Government of Odisha is doing? We are really serious about these two things, and the air cargo is almost through. Commerce and Transport Department is spearheading this. About rupees 1.70 crore Government of Odisha has given to I-Class. You know about I-Class, that is the Cargo Handling Agency of Airport Authority of India. So 1.7 crore has been given to I-Class to set up necessary infrastructure in Biju Patnaik International Airport. The certificate of BCAS, Bureau of Civil Aviation Safety, has been obtained last month. Hopefully, from any date of December, Biju Patnaik International Airport would be ready to handle export and import air cargo. So the small volume exporters can take advantage of this. We have 3 direct flights running, flying to Dubai, Bangkok and Singapore with state government's viability gap funding assistance, either through these flights or by some code sharing flight. You can send your export and receive your import air cargo items from Biju Patnaik International Airport. Now coming to container cargo, the state of affairs is quite miserable. There are big companies like Jindal, Vedanta, Infa, Hindalco, Nalco, and so many MSME players. They are sending their containers to Vizag, Haldia, Kolkata, and getting their containers from there also. Our seafood exporters, the marine exporters, they are also doing the same thing, which perhaps could have been done in 30,000-40,000 rupees per container through Paradip Port. The seafood exporters are incurring about 1.25 lakhs. That is the quantum of additional money that our exporters are incurring. So what state government is doing? Since last 6 months, we have started very serious deliberation at the government level, at the highest level of government, to start a kind of fortnightly export-import of containers through Paradip Port. Paradip Port chairman is also actively involved in this. What we are planning, in fact, we have floated one EOI. On 16th of November, in Times of India, All India edition, Government of Odisha MSME department has floated an EOI asking for viability gap funding proposals from international shipping companies to run a kind of feeder service from Paradip Port to nearby transshipment hubs, either to Port Klang or to Singapore or maybe to Colombo or to Chennai. And we have, so far, we have got proposal from one shipping company, and we are expecting, the last date is 31st of December, we are expecting to get serious proposals from 2 to 3 companies. So idea is that maybe from February or March, we can have a fortnightly container feeder service running from Paradip Port either to Port Klang or to Singapore or to Colombo, so that our big and small exporters and big and small importers can get their containers exported and imported through Paradip Port. But here I would expect some large-heartedness to some extent from also the exporters and importers. Why I say this? Because see, suppose you are incurring $100 per container through operating through Vizag port, and by shifting it to Paradip Port, suppose the freight cost and everything is $60. So you are saving $40. Now the saving of $40 needs to be shared. Part of it you save, you appropriate part of the savings. Part of the savings has to go to the shipping company, who will take all the risk of starting a new business. And because it is a new trade, it would not start with 1,000, 2,000 TEU capacity big vessels. That much of volume is not there. So it would start with a very small 200, 250, 300, 350 TEU capacity small vessel, where the operating cost is quite high. So you should not compare the freight cost of Haldia or Vizag with that of the would-be freight cost from Paradip. So therefore you share something. Government of Odisha also would come up with some viability gap funding, so that the entire business becomes sustainable. See, Honorable Minister Sir is here. Government of India, money is not a constraint for Government of Odisha. But point is that the viability gap funding should not be so high that after the VGF window closes, it could be for 6 months or 12 months. Government cannot go on giving the viability gap funding for years together. It should not be so high that after the VGF window closes, then Paradip operation closes and everybody again goes back to Haldia, Calcutta or Vizag. So therefore, the VGF will be given, it will be gradually reduced in quantum, so that when the window closes, the shipping companies, the clients of the shipping companies, they would have come to a kind of static equilibrium as far as freight and other charges are concerned. If that happens, then I am 100% sure that Paradip Port can handle good amount of container export and import within 6 months' time. Not only we have lot of potential in our state, but we can draw container traffic from Jharkhand, we can draw container traffic from parts of Chhattisgarh and also parts of West Bengal, because Calcutta and Haldia are getting choked, Vizag traffic is becoming unmanageable, Paradip is almost empty currently. So lot of non-Odisha container traffics can also come to Paradip Port. That is the potential, and government is seriously working on this, and I am personally hopeful that around February, March, we would be striking a deal with some shipping companies and the major exporters and importers, so that why we are relying on the major exporters and importers, because unless they start, the service cannot start. Like Jindal is the major exporter, Jindal is the major importer of containerized cargo. Vedanta is the major exporter. If they start, then gradually the MSMEs, the seafood industries, the garment manufacturing industries, they can come in. And in the entire process, the logistics cost will come down, and the logistical inconvenience also will come down. So this is what we are trying. We need cooperation of everybody. Thank you very much.
One point, Shaswati, to your, the time has come that we should think of a shipping line of our own country. Shipping corporation used to function in India earlier. We can strengthen shipping corporation, or maybe some private player can start a shipping line. And there, when you do this value gap funding, you can make this ships to arrive to Paradip, and then things can start rolling. So this is one thought which from your government you can tell the central government.
Yeah, just a minute. We are also in touch with the Shipping Corporation of India. Unfortunately, they don't have much of container business. And one or two container vessels of Shipping Corporation of India, it runs in the west coast. But nevertheless, we are in touch with them. We have sent the EOI copy to them also. 31st December is the last date, so we are waiting for some positive response from the Shipping Corporation of India.
Thank you so much, sir. And now moving ahead, may I please request Mr. P.L. Hadnan, IRTS Chairman, Paradip Port Authority. Sir, can we please have some valuable words from you?
So, Honorable Minister, Government of Odisha, Shri Pratap Keshari Devji, Mr. Yogesh Gupta, so Mr. Saswat Mishra, Mr. Debanjan Roy, and the host Shri K. Mohandas ji, and distinguished guests of the dais. First of all, let me express my gratitude to India Sea Trade as well as Mr. K. Mohandas for having invited me for this wonderful discussion and giving me the opportunity to meet all of you. As you know that the Indian economy is growing very fast under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji. Today it is a 3.4 trillion economy. It is running very fast towards 5 trillion economy by another 2 years. And then by 2030 it will be reaching 7 trillion economy. So with the growth in the GDP and then the requirement of the EXIM traffic will also grow substantially. Today, all the ports, whether it is major ports or non-major ports put together, last year they handled about 1.4 billion tons of EXIM traffic, including coastal shipping. So with the projected growth in the Indian economy in the next 4-5 years, by 2030, so this figure of 1.45 billion tons handled by the Indian ports is expected to grow to 2.4 billion tons. That means 1 billion ton extra cargo, whether it is export, import or coastal shipping, we are required to carry through our ports. So this is the most important challenging task which is before all of us. Second important point is the logistic cost. The logistic cost, as you know, that is quite high, 13 to 14% in India, and the national logistic policy is aiming to bring down to single digit by 2030. If you see the coal, for example, coal is the most important commodity which is produced. In fact, the state of Odisha is the largest producer of coal, apart from iron ore and bauxite. The total logistic cost in power production for a unit generation cost, 30 to 35% average in India. Of course, it may be 5 to 10% in the pit head power plants. In the faraway plants, it may be 40%. But average 30 to 35% of the unit generation cost is accounted only for logistic costs. So thereby, it emphasizes the importance that India has to give to reduce the logistic cost. If you see the volumes of the coal that is carried, the last year in 22-23, Coal India has produced about 890 roughly. All the figures are subjected to minor corrections because I don't have figures right now on my paper. About 890 million tons the Coal India has produced, out of which about 590 or around 600 million tons is carried by rail. So rest by the road. Hardly 50 million tons of this 890 million tons produced by Coal India, is carried by coastal shipping. You know that the coastal shipping, the most environmental friendly, most effective logistically and cheapest in terms of movement that one can think of. But unfortunately, only 50 million tons. Out of the 50 million tons of the coal which is transported in India, of course, originating point, Paradip port contributes to 42 million tons. So that is a substantial 80% of the coal at the originating port is handled by the Paradip. So there is a need to increase this coastal shipping in years to come. In fact, in the last budget, the government of India has proposed viability gap funding for the coastal shipping segment, whether the development of infrastructure or procurement of vessels. So whatever it may be, we are going to come up with the EOI, and is under framing by the Minister of Shipping. So very soon, and where between Paradip and between the unloading ports like Tuticorin, Krishnapatnam, Ennore ports, between these some services can be operated in PPP mode, for which we are planning to give some viability gap funding also, and for procurement of vessels, for movement of the vessels in long term. So what I want to stress is, in fact, this logistic cost is another important commodity which is produced in the state of Odisha is the steel. In steel also the logistic cost in the steel production per unit cost of steel production accounts to 15%. It is quite high. So the need of the hour is to reduce the logistic cost, the handling cost as well as the transportation cost to the destination. So is the most important thing to make us more globally competitive, most favored exim destination of the world. So that's why we have to stress upon this. For this, the most important thing is that first is the port should have the enough capacity. Unless the ports have the capacity, the vessels will come, they will start waiting, 30, 40 vessels. We know, I think Paradip port itself was having maybe 5-6 years back, 30 vessels lined up, and the vessels berthing time may be shooting up to 1 month, 2 months also. Not only in Paradip, and almost all the major ports, this was the situation. Thanks to the Sagarmala program, which has been started by in the 2015, 9 years we will be celebrating very soon. So the capacity of the major ports has gone up from 800 million tons, which was in 2014. Today it has gone up to 1600. So we have target to go up to 2500 another 3-4 years. Already the works are going on, projects are going on. So once we increase the capacity of the ports, so what will happen is the vessels will not wait for the berths. Our aim is the berths should wait for the vessel. As soon as the vessel comes, once it is ready, it should be allowed to berth immediately. In fact, in Paradip port itself, the pre-berthing detention, which we call it as, that is the detention between the readiness of the vessel till it is berthed, has come down substantially from days to hours. It is now till 2 to 3 hours. So this is a substantial improvement. This is nothing but because of the increasing the capacity, where we have enough capacity. Today the Paradip port has 289 million ton capacity, but we handle about 135 million tons. It is a good thing, there is nothing wrong in that. So once we have a more capacity, the customer is the person, the exporter and the importer are the persons who will be really benefited. That's what we want to do it. And second thing is, what we did is we have improved the productivity. Paradip port today in the country is the port with highest productivity. In 21-22, our productivity, we normally measure in terms of OSBD, output for ship berth day. That means, if a ship is berthed at a particular berth for 24 hours, how much cargo it has handled. It is average. Some cargoes may be slow moving, some cargoes may be fast moving, some berths are non-mechanized, manually handled, some berths are mechanized, all average put together. 21-22, it was only 27,000 tons per day per ship, per berth. So today, it is this year almost about 33,000 tons per day per ship per berth. That means we have increased. So various system improvement measures, we could increase. Now today, we are the number one. We have beaten Jawaharlal Nehru port. In 21-22, Jawaharlal Nehru port was the highest, 28,000 tons. Still, Jawaharlal Nehru port is slightly increased by hundreds. Normally, every year, this figure increases in hundreds only. In any major port, if you can see, it cannot increase in 1,000 tons. But we could increase in 2 years' time, almost about 6,000 tons we could increase per ship, per berth, per day. So this goes to the entire our team of Paradip Port Authority who has done a wonderful job. And the third important thing which I want to share with you is, so we have to ensure a stability of the market, the people. Into every major ports, every 3 years, the tariff is revised. Now, being authorities, we have a full freedom to revise that tariff whatever way we want it. In 2022, after becoming authority, so we have an opportunity because earlier the tariff has expired, 3 years have completed. So we have decided in 2022 October that we will freeze the tariff of the Paradip port for next 3 years. So no importer, no exporter is required to pay even a single rupee extra what they were paying in October 22 till October 25. So this kind of stability we have given to the market so that the people have a clear-cut idea. Now today I can say that the Paradip port is the cheapest in terms of its charges, its tariff compared to all Indian ports, whether it is a major port or a private port, any port in the country. In fact, the port dues and pilotage charges for thermal coal coastal shipping is hardly 16 rupees per ton. This is the cheapest in the country. Probably in this hotel, you will not get even a cup of coffee for 16 rupees, but you can transport, so 1 ton of thermal coal to our port. So for pilotage and port dues charges. So this is the kind of system we have wanted to create. And the second important thing is which you want to tell us, once the capacity of the port is augmented, the most important thing is the cargo has to carry to the destination. Otherwise it is of no meaning. If the cargo gets stuck at the port, so what is the use for the customers? So it must reach the doorstep of the customers. That is the second important thing where we are trying to improve upon it. There the connectivity of the port plays a vital role. In fact, the Sagarmala has done wonders as far as the port capacity expansion is concerned. But Sagarmala has, so now the most important is connectivity improvement. That's where the Prime Minister's Gati Shakti National Master Plan it will play a vital role. So what the Sagarmala has done for the port capacity, the Gati Shakti Master Plan is going to do for the connectivity. So here in Odisha, we have about 1 major port Paradip and 2 non-major ports are there, and 2 more ports are coming, Astharanga and Suvarnarekha. So all these ports, in fact I am the coordinator for the Gati Shakti program of the Odisha. So we have 28 projects, about 22 projects, rail projects and 6 road projects have been flagged under Gati Shakti, out of which 8 have been completed, rest are either under implementation or under development or under sanction. So what the Gati Shakti will do is, Gati Shakti will expedite the projects substantially, means you cannot even think of how it can do. For example, preparation of DPR itself. Definitely you must have faced this kind of things. A DPR preparation, sometimes it will take 2 years, 3 years. I have seen some DPRs who are still under preparation for 5 years. This preparation time of DPR with Gati Shakti will be reduced to 15 days. It can be reduced even to 1 week. So that is the kind of speeding up that can be done under Gati Shakti. In fact, the kind of clearances also, once it's open for a private sector also can use, they can apply for the various clearances from various authorities, and there is a checklist, there is a monitoring system is there, where that particular clearance is getting detained, so that there will be pressure on them to give the clearances. This kind of transparency and then speeding up the whole process of the project implementation will come, thereby the projects, whether the rail connectivity projects, road connectivity projects, or even will be expedited. Two more things, just I will enclose it. One is in the Odisha, one thing we are trying to improve is the waterway connectivity. The Brahmani River National Waterway 5 is going to be developed very soon, and we have signed a memorandum of understanding in the Global Maritime India Summit, and between the Coal India state government of Odisha, Paradip Port, Inland Waterway Authority of India. It will be executed by Inland Waterway Authority of India. It will connect Talcher to Paradip and Dhamra port. In the first phase, Dhamra and Paradip ports will be connected to Pankapal. So this, once it comes, it will provide an alternative way of connectivity. And second thing is, we have, as a part of our port-led industrialization process, so port-led industrialization is the most effective way of reducing the logistic cost. So we have almost about 50 million tons of iron ore pellets will be produced. So they will be getting iron ore from the Jaroli Banspani area, and we have not given any rail siding to any of them. So all these iron ore will come by pipelines only. I must thank the government of Odisha for giving the clearances very fast, because government of Odisha is known for the ease of doing business. In fact, if iron ore gets transported from Jaroli and Banspani to Paradeep, I have calculated per ton, the operational cost of movement by rail is about more than 612 or something like that. Whereas in pipeline, it will be 150 rupees. That means almost 500 rupees per ton operational cost will be reduced if the iron ore is transported in a slurry form over a distance of about 300 kilometers. So what I want to say is the multimodal connectivity, all these rail connectivity, road, waterways, pipelines, conveyors, coastal shipping, they will not compete with each other. They will complement, cooperate, coordinate with each other, so that to provide a better ecosystem of logistic comfort and convenience for the customer. That is the purpose. So for that, some commodities can be transported by pipeline like iron ore, some cannot be. So we must, all these modes must work together, and ultimate aim is to give the customer the best logistic experience overall. So that's what we are working. In fact, national logistic policy announced by the government of India is the main aim is to provide that kind of comfort. And thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And with this, moving ahead, may I please request Mr. Bhubaneswar for a quick brief on the topic. So may I please request you to kindly take over.
Respected Minister Shri Deb, my seniors Shri Mohandas, Shri Mishra, Shri Harnath, Mr. Yogesh Gupta, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen in the audience. I would start off saying that Odisha is very big in as far as railways is concerned. So as for statistics, 21% of the total loading of Indian Railway is done from the state of Odisha, and it is the highest. And if you look at unloading part, it is about 13% of the entire Indian Railways unloading that is done by Odisha. So Odisha is the crown jewel of IR as far as we are concerned, and it is served, as you very well know, by 3 railways, which is East Coast, Southeastern, and ACCR. So this was the brief about railways as far as Odisha is concerned. And we need not go into further details, but yes, iron ore, coal, manganese, bauxite, so all the wealths which are endowed to Odisha are being taken care of railway to the best extent possible. We have developed 3 separate modules. One is iron ore connectivity, one is bauxite connectivity, and one is coal connectivity. So we have been looking at projects sector-wise under the Gati Shakti scheme of the Government of India to enhance. And there are many projects which are catering to these. The details, of course, I would not like to go, but it is available. I can pass in it. Now we will come to the main theme. What is the theme of today's discussion? Which we well know that cost of logistics is in double digit, maybe 12-13% of what is the overall cost of the product. And as Harnath sir has pointed out, it is reaching to a level of 35% in coal powerhouses. It is also in the range of 25% in aluminium and iron ore industries. So the objective of the national logistics policy is to bring it down to a level of single digit. Now what do we go ahead with it? As sir has pointed out, we have a mode called RSR, that is rail, sea, rail, or rail, sea, road. The more of S, that is the more we carry through water, the logistics costs come down. So the national logistics policy is looking at the important ports of Odisha as a major player to bring down the logistics cost. We have Dhamra port, we have Gopalpur port, we have Paradip port, and 2 more ports which are coming up. Astaranga port, which is taking up from a station called Raghunathpur, that is on the Paradip-Cuttack line, and we have Suvarnarekha port, which is taking up from Balasore station. So the ICD at Balasore will play a very
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to this great evening. And on the dais, Shri K. Mohandas ji, Shri P.L. Haranand, Chairman Paradip Post, Principal Secretary MSME Shri Shashwat Mishra ji, Mr. Yogesh Gupta ji, Devaranjan Roy ji, and friends and ladies and gentlemen present in the house. What I heard, that all of you had a very fruitful 2 sessions, Mr. Gupta. I was interacting with Mr. Gupta, that how things went. And first of all, I would like to thank the organization that to have made it to Bhubaneswar. That's in a way recognizing the efforts of the state government in field of exports and industrialization. Thank you so much for that first. Ladies and gentlemen, whatever you heard, and before we dwell into it, as a minister of the state, I am also Minister Industries, MSME, and also energy. So all put together basically will lead to exports. So like I am the base minister for all your requirements. When I speak of Odisha, let me put it this way. My state as of today, under the able leadership of Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik ji, has got a tremendous advantage of the late beginner. When I say that we have got a tremendous advantage of the late beginner means, when others are on the verge of exhausting what they have achieved, or reaching the peak, or they are plateauing, I am just beginning. So by nature and naturally, I become an attractive destination. So how do I attract? So there are a slew of policies we have taken, and I thank Mr. Mohandas when he first gave his inaugural speech and he was appreciating the industrial policy. I think we are the only state in the country as of today who is giving a 30% capital subsidy on thrust and priority sectors. In priority sector 20%, in thrust sectors 30% capital subsidy, 100% rebate on electricity duty, a 2 rupee and 1 rupee thrust and priority respectively on the electricity tariff, on the actual tariff, and no SGST refund up to 200%, and other government goodies which are generally associated, like stamp duty free and other things. And also we commit that if you come through the GoSwift portal, the ease of doing business. So EPICOL and ITCO, Industrial Development Corporation of Odisha, also facilitates land availability at a moderate rate. So this kind of a atmosphere is the background, and to match with that we have got a robust MSME policy with an export policy, and there is also a logistic policy. In total we have come out with about 21 policies to facilitate trade, industry, both MSME and heavy industry, and leading to export. By the grace of Lord Jagannath, we have been blessed with the coastline, 480 kilometers of coastline. We have got 3 functional ports. The largest port, the largest money earner as of today in Indian ports in mineral sector is Paradip. And also the largest railway earner is East Coast Railway, freight, both are for freight. I'll come to that later. So this is how we have spread our things, and we have got a trajectory of 25 years, a vision of 25 years to start with. So we have got something called Make in Odisha program, which is biennial. And we have kept our industrial policy and all these 21 policies dynamic. They are not fixed. We have the policy which can be altered as per the demand and drives of the market, both international and the country. Governmental procedure, we can reach there. Now to cap it all, why is it possible? When I say I've got the advantage of the late beginner, as of today I've got the maximum land which can be given for industry as compared to other states at a reasonable cost. I've got 11% of the country's total water. So for industry, I've got enough water. After what I give for agriculture, after that I've got a sufficient water. So I've got land, I've got water, and a British official had written way back in 1870 in the Gazetteers, the part of Odisha in the Bengal province has got all the minerals which a human being needs to live. So Odisha is mineral rich. I've got coal, I've got bauxite, I've got chromite, I've got nickel, I've got rare earth, you name it, manganese, you name it, we have it. And we have it in abundance. That is my bedrock on what we are standing today. And that is to be exploited. When I say to be exploited means all these resources ultimately point to one direction, means making mother industries, steel plant, aluminum plant, power plants. The next in the line is the chemical hub, PCPIR. Paradip has been declared as the PCPIR. It's going to be a chemical hub after Gujarat. Naphtha cracker is coming, so is the polypropylene plant. So there will be a flurry of activities in Paradip port. So this is going to happen in another 10 years' time. Things have already started moving. So all this, when I'm saying this, will ultimately lead to export. Why we have today and what best can be done and what is the background scenario as exporters, as logistic operators. You need to know right from the government itself that what has been the offering. As of today, JSPL, JSW and Vedanta are the lead metallurgy. In fact, I'll give you a small data. I'm carried with me. In 2018-19, we exported something like 48,117.60 crores worth of goods from Odisha. And we reached the peak in 21-22. Now 21-22 is the last part of COVID. All my industries were operational during the COVID time. And we reached a staggering figure of 1,32,405. And this year so far, it is 95,773.95 crores. And which are the sectors? Metallurgy, engineering and chemical allied, mineral, agriculture and forest, marine, handloom, handicrafts, textile, pharmaceuticals, and software electronics. These are sectors we have achieved this kind of a trajectory as of today. And with a short span of, say, let's say 5 years. Before that, my figures were dismal, but there were hardly any industrialization. Now the question remains, politicians come and speak a lot. So what the hell were you doing for so many years? So telling you very frankly, you should know that background also to understand Odisha better, because I see potential investors in you. Why should you put your money in a state where you think which doesn't have a future, or where you can't double your money? I am making this effort to make you understand because I want you to invest in Odisha. I want to see you think about Odisha in your futuristic plans of a business expansion or even of setting up a greenfield plant. When 2000 we came to power, we had a serious financial crisis. Balance of payments were down, so was my agriculture, so was my education, so was my infrastructure. So that super cyclone exposed us very badly. It made us look inwards, that what have we achieved so far? And it was a dismal record. Let me admit it very frankly. And from then on we started picking up threads, and by 2015 we are food surplus. My requirement is about 28 lakh metric ton of food grains. I produce about 92 lakhs and government buys about 52 lakhs. That is the situation of my food security. Then I come to infrastructure. So the entire industrialization process you see today starting from the BG Expressway, starting from the internal state highways, which connect Paradip, which connect other ports, everything, majority of them have been made by state finances. And 15 years' time, we have come to such a place that we could reach this export figures which I am telling you. It's not that we haven't taken the help of Government of India. And I think probably Mr. Roy will agree with us. If not the first state, I think we are probably the first state who is partnering railways in completing the project by putting in 50% of my own money, which no other state does. We are the only state who is paying 50% of the railway cost. And if you include the land acquisition cost, actually I am paying 75%. That is always my grievance with East Coast Railways. That why are you not completing your projects? Same with Paradip Port. That earns the maximum amount of money. So whatever clearances they have achieved, thanks to the Hardaspur Paradip line, there is a second railway line connecting for a clearance from the port, and the port has gone rapidly. I would request the chairman to broaden his vision, expand the port. You have got a dedicated berth, container berth, unoperational. You should venture out beyond only minerals. Minerals is your bread and butter, we agree. You earn the highest in the country, we agree. But it's high time. You have got land, you have got the wherewithal, you have got the technology. Why can't we expand? Why can't you make your own figure 3 times more? Nobody stops you. And as far as power is concerned, which is the fourth most important part to drive the entire scenario. Friends and gentlemen, as Energy Minister, I am proud to say that my own IPPs and my own generation capacity as of today is 8,760 megawatts. My requirement is peak hour is 6,000. So still I am surplus. And if I add the CPP, the captive power plants of the industries, I reach 19,200 megawatts as of today. And we are adding about another 10,000 over a period of 10 years. And this additional 10,000 megawatts which will add over the period of 10 years, of which about 7,000 megawatts will be RE. And what is going to galvanize the Gopalpur port and the Dhamra port in the future of the energy lies in hydrogen and ammonia. Government of India has got a target of 10 million metric ton of hydrogen and 10 million of ammonia. We alone have signed MOU worth 5.5 million in the state. 7 projects have already been given clearance, and we are making Gopalpur the next hydrogen and ammonia hub. Now that is the future. That is the future of liners fuel, the jet fuel, and the fuel we use in automobiles. So there is a great competition going on as of today. It's a EV or it's hydrogen. So automobile industry is going to see a sea change in another, probably a decade. So when these two technologies are mastered, and people are working on it, one side the Japanese are working on hydrogen, and the European and the American, Elon Musk and other people are working on EV. So there are two distinct markets. And by our geographical location, we come in the main oceanic line. I was in Japan in last April, and by 24 March, they will come out with a clear-cut technology which they have already demonstrated, has been demonstrated by Toyota, and will be approved by the government. Once that is official, then things start moving in a different platform altogether. So now when I'm saying all these things, I'm not, like I said in the beginning, we are thinking 25 years hence. Now what the government of Odisha as of today is doing, Mr. Saswat Mishra, my principal secretary of the government, MSC department just told you. And gentlemen, that is what is said is very modestly put it. I'm being a bit robust about it. That's just the beginning. We are planning an international airport in Puri, and we just got the forest clearance from the government of India. And in the course of time, it is going to come in a big way. And the entire air operation, cargo operation will be set up there. And similarly, more railway networks are required, more highways are required which are planned, so that logistics of movement of export items should be in the shortest period of time. That's why in my industrial policy, if you see, we have also kept logistics in the priority sector. So even any of you who wants to set up a logistic park of your own on a highway or say on the railway line, we are ready to give you land and also give you the benefits. Like I told you, the priority sector has got about 20% capital subsidy and so on and so forth. So it's for you. What I am, as the government, I can do is, I can put things on the table for the market. The idea that government will do this, government will do that has to go. You have to think like a businessman, you have to think like that you have to change. What Mr. Chairman was saying, Paradip Port, how will you become a 7 trillion economy if you don't change? How do you think Paradip Port will grow without you infusing more capital and expanding your operation? How do you think we will grow if East Coast Railway doesn't expand its lines? How do you think we will grow if the government doesn't come out with a congenial policy or road networking or 24/7 electricity and a skilled workforce? To reach that target, we have to work 360 degrees. Then only the last point is export. That is like earning the hard currency. To earn that hard currency, this much effort has to be done. So when we are talking about the last mile, we need to care of the first mile and the middle miles. So that's why I said I need to give you the entire perspective of Government of Odisha. What my Chief Minister calls it as a all-round growth of industry. Every district has got a unique product to sell. Prime Minister has said, Government of India has said, one district, one product. It's easier saying than translating it. That one product needs to be upgraded to the international standard to earn hard currency. And it requires that kind of a policy to get marketed and to exit from the country. So it takes time. Gati Shakti, Sagarmala, 2014-15 Government of India started, 9 years is going to be completed. Not the entire country has been covered. It takes, infrastructure takes time. Land acquisition is the biggest challenge. Like I heard people talking about inland waterway. I don't know, I am not enthusiastic about inland waterway, at least in Odisha. The simple reason, the channel, Mr. Chairman, you are talking about, from Dhamra to Paradip, I don't think it can ever happen. It cannot happen. Why? Because my constituency is there. I know I represent that area. My MLA constituency is there. Why? Because in between there is a Ramsar site, Bhittar Kanika, the largest saltwater crocodile sanctuary in the country, and is a Ramsar site. And your project will go right through it. There's no loop. Crocodiles are at my house. I don't think so they will allow it. And if they allowed it, it will be like some bolt from the blue. Because about 4 years back, they started digging right in front of my house. My house is on the river. And they went up to about 13 kilometers, then they ran away. Why? Because the DPR was not approved by the MOEF. I'm talking about 2013-14. It was abandoned. 1,200 crores spent by Government of India down the drain. It happened right in front of my house. So since I belong to that place, I know what the actual problem is. It's easy saying for us, easy to calculate, but when you start grounding it, a lot of noises about NGT will be in our necks. They'll be sitting over our head. Mr. Roy can tell you how problematic it is. Till today, for last 25-30 years, we have not been able to clear that Talcher, Bansmani, Bimlagad railway line, which leads to the heart of the mines, only because of forest clearance. And here we are talking about a Ramsar site. So these are the challenges, practical challenges which come in front of us. And Mahani is the only river which is like navigable to a certain extent. So again, that leaves me the option which we have already taken, laying of pipelines, slurry pipelines. I think about another 2 years' time, the entire mining belt will be linked to Paradip. That project is already on and works are already progressing on a fast note. We need railway connectivity, we need road connectivity, and we need to broaden our ports. And especially container operation has to happen. And we are tirelessly working, like Principal Secretary Mr. Mishra said, Government of India is tirelessly working how to get this operated. We are in touch with Vedanta and JSPL that for this time round, they should start exporting from Paradip. It makes a lot of sense cost-wise. So probably that will attract others. Similarly, we are also ready to give VGF to liners who come in. So at least once the modest beginning has been made, then the follow-through will follow. Why it will follow? And I am very confident that it will follow. Like Mr. Mishra said, the government cannot give it forever. Say we give it for 2 years, 3 years or 5 years. That much time is enough. Once the flow starts and the amount of MOUs we have signed and amount of industry which are coming in and are going to set up, they will pick up the rope. So it's a very bright idea and we need to move forward. There are bottlenecks. It's not a free walk in the park. And it's like when we deliberate, we don't make distinction between governments, but unfortunately, the reality in life is there are distinctions. Like I said, I am a state which provides 75% of the cost of the railways, yet I hardly get funding. My ports earn the highest in the country, but kept in the back burner. Now the decision cannot be taken in Bhubaneswar, it has to be taken in the Government of India. Railway comes under them, ports come under them, airport authorities come under them. We can think about the country's progress as a whole, but while progressing on that trajectory, there are ifs and buts. Every family has got a problem. The country and political party government is a very huge family. We can't meet our demands of our own family. When you're talking about a country, it's a very big challenge. I may be from any political party, but the challenges are huge. The pressures are sometimes intolerable. And of course, when we are in business, doing business, the profit is the motive. Why would the government of Bengal, also for the matter Andhra Pradesh, like to see the business go out of, say, Haldia or Diamond Harbour or Vizag? They'll do their best to stop it. Mr. Roy, am I right? Every state government will do that. Who won't? So I have to jump that hurdle. Nobody else will for me if I don't. So we in the state government are making all efforts. Why I am saying all this thing? I am trying to give you a realistic picture as far as possible. Because when you are making up a mind to put money in Odisha, you should be clear about the perspectives. And gentlemen, I can assure you one thing. As of today in India, there's no better place to invest than Odisha. It's the only state which is coming up. It is the only state which has got political stability, I can say with authority. And it's the only state who can back up its claim in the policy. Like Mr. Gupta was deliberating, he's correct. As of today, I am 43,000 crore surplus. So when I say that I can give you 30% capital subsidy, I mean it, because I have the money in my pocket. Many state governments speak without money in the pocket. There are no power holidays. And gentlemen, you will be surprised, Government of Odisha doesn't give subsidy in power. We are the only state in the country who does not subsidize the electricity. Yet it is much lesser than many states. Why? Because we produce a lot of electricity. So, which other state will give you this kind of a policy benefit? This kind of a governance benefit? This type of a future 25-year plan with backing of raw material, with backing of a huge skilled labor and land, water and export option. Many states are landlocked. Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand are landlocked. Uttar Pradesh is landlocked. We have that advantage of the coast. And lastly, I will say, entire export business is directly or proportionately linked with the geopolitics of the world. Any change up there, which is not in our hands, casts an immediate spell. Russia-Ukraine war, things change. Israel-Hamas, things change. If there is tomorrow Taiwan and China, things will change. So, like you, the investors around the world, they want a safe place. And today, many people in the world, many businesses in the world think India is the safest bet. In this gloomy economic scenario, my country is the country which is rising. It's like a rising star, so everybody wants to put the money in. That's why that idea of Honorable Prime Minister from 5 million to 7 trillion. So I have to also join the rat race. The investment is coming out of China. It is going into Indochina and to India. Instability in Middle East will again push the capital to India. So we are in a very advantageous position if you see the geography. Middle East and China, we are in between. Any problem, we gain. And there lies the shipping, there lies the export market, there lies the financial markets. So as far as I am concerned as a politician, I can say, irrespective of the domestic politics in the country, we are headed for a clear-cut economic growth trajectory for another 10 years, unless somebody really messes it up. So at least we have got a straight 10-year run ahead. Uske baad kya hoga, I don't know. But at least this 23 till 33, 34, 35, we have got a clear-cut edge over others. And lastly, I'll thank the organization to have invited me as a guest and to have given me time to listen to me. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Jai Jagannath, Bande Mataram.
Thank you so much, sir. It was an absolute honor. Sir has definitely brought in some powerful insights towards some crucial issues. With this, may I please request Mr. K. Mohandas, sir, to kindly conclude the session.
Just Honorable Minister has spoke about some issues about Paradip. Just I want to bring it to the notice of Honorable Minister as well as to the audience. So due to the paucity of the time, I could not discuss about the expansion plans of the Paradip. But the Paradip is the highest growing port in the country in terms of capacity. Today already we are the highest rated capacity port with 289 million tons. We have plans to expand up to 400 million tons. Already projects have been approved. We have to go for tender in a staggering manner because if I go all at one go, the operations will be impacted. By 2030, Paradip port is the only port in the country which touches 400 million tons, whereas other ports even will not touch 300 million tons. So there is a massive expansion plan which is going. That is number one. Number two is the connectivity issues, what sir has also raised. Connectivity issues, Paradip port also chipping in the connectivity developments. For example, Chendikol Paradip, a 4-lane highway, it is being expanded to 8-lane with 2 multi-modal truck parking terminals. In this, it is a 4,000 crore project being executed by NHAI. The tenders have already been, work orders have been issued in 4 packets, out of which 25% is being contributed by Paradip port. And second is another important railway, we are procuring our own wagons, almost 40 to 50 rakes we are going to procure. We plan to deliver the cargo at the doorstep. Now I am handing over the cargo at the port. I will not hand over the port. I will take all operations will be done, custom clearance, everything. I will deliver at the doorstep. I will charge for him. I will take the cargo from the doorstep. I will deliver to the port. So this is what innovatively, probably first time in the country, Paradip port is planning. Maybe in 2 years' time we will be completing. We will provide a total logistic solution to the customer. And third thing what I want to say, sir, cargo diversification. As you said that traditionally Paradip port concentrated on coal and iron ore. But it's the time now to diversify the cargo basket. We have been working very hard. In fact, I must thank Saraswati and Chief Secretary sir also for having involved in very closely to operationalize the container terminals. In fact, Paradip Port is giving 75% concession on all the charges for a period of 1 to 2 years. And this will probably ignite the container traffic here. And fourth thing, sir, and last thing I want to just say that Paradip Port is one of the three major ports who have been declared as the hydrogen hubs. So Paradip Port is developing 5 million ton capacity per annum berth for handling of the green hydrogen, green ammonia. Of course, it is initially green ammonia only, later on green hydrogen will come, along with all the supporting infrastructure at a cost of 325 crores. This project will be completed by 2026. I think 3-4 players are coming up nearby. They will plug in into our trestle, our conveyor system, and they can bunker the vessels, they can export the vessels, whatever they want to do. So these are the facilities, sir, we are developing. Just for the information of Honorable Minister and the audience, I want to bring it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Friends, we come to the end of the afternoon's deliberations. The last 6 hours have added a lot of value to the awareness of the various issues and the various happenings that are taking place. The climax was the Honorable Minister's speech, where, if I had money, I would have invested. Unfortunately, I don't have that money to invest, but it was definitely something which would convert any investor into a fan of the state of Odisha. Well, so that brings us to the close. So please go ahead with the...
Thank you so much, sir. We would now request Mr. K. Mohandas, sir, to please do the honors for our Honorable Minister and Chief Guest. We have a small token of love for you, sir, so I'll please request, sir, to kindly do the honors. Can we please have the mementos on the stage? And ladies and gentlemen, can we have a thunderous round of applause for Shri Pratap Keshari Deb. Once again, thank you so much, sir, for taking out time and being here. It was truly an honor to find you here. Requesting Mohandas, sir, to kindly go ahead with Mr. P.L. Harnath, sir. Can we please present the memento? Mr. Sashwat Mishra. Mr. Bibanjan Roy. And last but not the least, Mr. Yogesh Gupta. Thank you very much. And with this, we have some felicitations for our sponsors. So I'll please request all our sponsors to be here. And here we conclude the formal session. Thank you so much once again, all the esteemed dignitaries on the dais, our chief guest, and other guest of honors. Thank you so much. It's very important to capture memories, so I'll please request if all the dignitaries can please step ahead for all of us, and can we please have a group picture? I'll please request all the dignitaries, our chief guest. Sir, can we please request you for 2 more minutes to capture this memory and go ahead with a group picture for all of us? Thank you so much once again. Once again, I request everyone to please be seated, especially the sponsors who have supported us, the representatives who are here. Kindly requesting you all to please be here for a while. We have some felicitations for all your contribution and support that you have extended towards the Grand Summit. All right, so here we would like to call upon onto the stage, the representatives from sponsors and supporting organizations to receive the mementos, requesting any representative or member from Paradeep Port Authority. I'll please request any representative or member of Paradeep Port Authority. Can we please welcome you on stage? Thank you so much, sir, for all the support that you have rendered towards the 5th edition of the Multimodal Logistics Summit. Ladies and gentlemen, on stage, here we go ahead with one of our main sponsors, Paradeep Port Authority, Bhaman Lorry Logistics. May I please request any representative from Bhaman Lorry Logistics. Freya Shipping, any representative from Freya Shipping? Freya Shipping, I repeat, any representative or member from Freya Shipping, can we please welcome you on stage, sir? Next up, requesting any representative from Jindal Stainless. Jindal Stainless. Adani Ports and Logistics. Adani Ports and Logistics. Once again, thanking all the sponsors who have contributed and rendered all the love and support for hosting such a grand summit. APJ Infra Logistics. APJ Infra Logistics. Kalinga International Container Terminal. Kalinga International Container Terminal. Sea Freight. I request any representative from Sea Freight to please join us upon stage. Coral Shipping Services. Any representative or member of Coral Shipping Services? Coral Shipping Services. Welcome, sir. Tata Steel Special Economic Zone. Tata Steel Special Economic Zone. TM International Logistics. TM International Logistics. So please, may we welcome you on stage. APJ Infra Logistics. Shravan Shipping Services. APJ Infra Logistics. So please wait. Any representative from TM International? Sir, please. Shravan Shipping Services. Vivek Freight and Logistics. Vivek Freight and Logistics. Any member from Vivek Freight and Logistics? Hestila Logman LLP. Hestila Logman LLP. Exim Logistics Private Limited. Exim Logistics Private Limited. Okay. North Odisha Chamber of Commerce Industry. North Odisha Chamber of Commerce Industry. So, please. National Association of Container Freight Station. National Association of Container Freight Station. Exim Logistics Private Limited. Paradip Port Stevedores Association. Paradip Port Stevedores Association. Kalinga Steamship Agents Association. Paradip Port Stevedores Association. Kalinga Steamship Agents Association. Odisha Custom Brokers Association. Odisha Custom Brokers Association. Federation of Indian Export Organization. Federation of Indian Export Organization. Kalinga Steamship Agents Association. Once again, heartfelt thanks to all our esteemed sponsors for the support that they have extended to this business summit. It would not be possible to organize such a prestigious event without your very generous support. Thank you so much, sir, for doing the honors. Last but not the least, we extend our special heartfelt thanks to Mr. Nikhil Doshi, General Manager, Eastern Region, India Sea Trade, for his phenomenal and instrumental role in making this event happen. He's the man behind the scene who has put in tremendous amount of effort in bringing together the esteemed sponsors, speakers, and delegates to this summit. So I please request everyone, can we have a big shout out for Mr. Nikhil Doshi. This remarkable conference, which is Multimodal Logistics Summit Bhubaneswar, which has undoubtedly been a grand success, would not be possible without the unwavering support and dedication of each and everyone who's been a part of this summit the entire day. First and foremost, on behalf of India Sea Trade, I extend our deepest appreciation to our general sponsors who provided the foundation upon which this Multimodal Logistics Summit Bhubaneswar was organized. Your unwavering trust in India Sea Trade and your commitment to fostering knowledge and innovation are truly inspiring. Thank you so much again. To our esteemed speakers, we are immensely grateful for you, for sharing your expertise and insights with us. Your thought-provoking and engaging discussions have further enriched our understanding for this industry and inspired us to think beyond conventional boundaries. As we conclude this remarkable conference, let us carry with us the inspiration, the knowledge, and the connection we have forged here. May these serve as catalysts for further innovation, collaboration, and progress in our respective fields. Thank you once again, each and everyone, for making it a grand success. Your contributions are deeply appreciated. With this, the 5th edition of the Multimodal Logistics Summit 2023 draws to a close. We will return with more such business summit to address and debate issues pertaining to our industry, and we hope to see you all with your active participation there. And before we sum it up, we are really delighted to announce, India Sea Trade is delighted to announce its 6th edition. As we finish the Grand 5th Summit, we are also announcing the 6th edition of the Multimodal Logistics Summit, which will be happening on 19th of January. I repeat, the 6th edition of the Multimodal Logistics Summit will be happening on 19th of January 2024 in Gandhidham. So I please request all of you to kindly get up and block your dates. We would be definitely looking forward to some active participation. Have a wonderful evening, ladies and gentlemen. You can all now go ahead with some more networking. The forum is now open. Ladies and gentlemen, this was your host Shifali Udgata signing off. Thank you so much, everyone.